Hello, my dear learner. I know what it feels like to listen to someone speak English so fast that it sounds like one long, unstoppable river of words. You try to catch one phrase, maybe one sentence, but before you know it, it's gone. You feel lost, frustrated, maybe even embarrassed. You wonder, will I ever understand them? I want you to know, you are not alone. Every fluent English speaker you admire once felt exactly like you do now. They too struggled to follow conversations, to find words quickly, to understand native speakers who seem to race through sentences like a train on full speed. But here's the truth. They didn't start fast. They started slow, just like you. When I first began my own English journey, I remember sitting in class, hearing my teacher speak, and feeling like the words were dancing too quickly for my brain to catch them. I'd look at my classmates, wondering how they understood everything. I thought maybe something was wrong with me, but it wasn't. The problem wasn't my brain, it was my belief. I thought I had to understand everything right away. I thought fluency was about speed, when really it's about rhythm, patience, and connection. Let me tell you about a student named Amina. She joined my class 3 years ago. On her first day, she said softly, "Teacher, when people speak English fast, I freeze." My mind just stops. She loved English songs, but she couldn't follow the lyrics. She enjoyed movies, but even with subtitles, she'd get lost. We started small. I told her, don't try to understand every word. Just catch the feeling first. The meaning will follow. So every evening, Amina listened to short English clips, just 30 seconds each. She played them again and again, not to translate, but to feel the rhythm. Slowly, she began to notice patterns. The words weren't random anymore. They were connected by sound. Within 6 months, she could understand short podcasts. In 1 year, she was chatting fluently with tourists in her city. The moment she stopped chasing every word and started listening with patience, her English transformed. And maybe that's what you need too. Not more fear, but more flow. Now let's look at how you can start building that understanding yourself. The first step is to train your ear. English is a melody, and every accent is like a different instrument. Native speakers often link words together. They say gonna instead of going to, wanna instead of want to, did ya instead of did you. So when you hear, how are you? It may sound like, how are ya? Don't panic. That's not new vocabulary. It's just how real English lives and breathes in daily conversation. One of my students, Lucas, used to get so frustrated because he couldn't understand his favorite YouTubers. He said, "Teacher, I know the words, but I can't hear them." I told him, "Lucas, that's good news. It means you're ready to learn connected speech." We watched a few short clips together, and I asked him to write what he thought he heard. He wrote, "Hawayado," and then we broke it down. "How are you doing?" He laughed, realizing that the English he knew was hiding behind faster pronunciation. After a few weeks of this practice, something beautiful happened. He started hearing English, not as noise, but as meaning. The next step is to speak with rhythm, not just words. Many learners make the mistake of focusing too much on grammar and too little on flow. But communication is music. When you speak too slowly, word by word, it sounds unnatural. When you try to speak too fast, you lose clarity. The secret is balance. Let me tell you about Ravi, a quiet learner from India. When he joined my online sessions, he barely spoke. He'd write perfect sentences in chat. But when asked to speak, he froze. He told me, "I'm scared I'll sound stupid." So I gave him a small daily challenge, to speak one sentence in English every morning just to himself. "Say it out loud," I told him, "as if you were talking to your best friend." The first week, he whispered. The second week, he smiled while speaking. By the third week, he recorded himself and noticed something incredible. He didn't sound as bad as he thought. Month by month, Ravi grew confident. He started joining conversations. And one day he told me, "Teacher, I spoke with a tourist at the market today, and I didn't even think about grammar." That's the moment you know fluency is happening, when English stops being a subject and starts being part of your life. Now here's something important. Understanding fast English doesn't come from studying more, but from listening more. Your brain is like a sponge. It absorbs patterns the more you expose it to natural sound. Watch short videos. Listen to slow podcasts first, then move to faster ones. Don't worry if you don't catch everything. Listen for emotion, tone, and key words. Slowly, your brain will start predicting what comes next. And that's how real understanding grows. Another student, Sarah, used to listen to English songs daily. At first, she couldn't understand much, but she enjoyed the rhythm. She'd hum along, repeating words she caught. Then she started reading the lyrics while listening. She noticed how pronunciation changed. "I used to think singers were skipping words," she laughed. "But now I realize they just say them faster." That's how she trained her ear. Today, Sarah speaks with natural intonation and even sings fluently in English. Now, let's talk about the power of imitation. When you hear native speakers, try to mimic their tone, stress, and rhythm. Not perfectly, but playfully. Record yourself saying, "What do you mean?" Or, "I don't really know." Compare it. Notice how native speakers stress certain words and reduce others. You'll sound more fluent, more confident, and more you. One of my favorite learners, Yuto, from Japan, practiced this for 5 minutes every night. He'd listen to one line from a movie, pause, and repeat it exactly. He called it his echo practice. In 3 months, he sounded dramatically smoother. He said, "I stopped memorizing English. I started feeling it." And that's what I want for you, to feel English, not fear it. Now let's move to the emotional side. I know many of you carry fear inside. Fear of being laughed at. Fear of making mistakes. I carried that fear too. I remember once, in my early days, I tried to speak to a tourist in English. I said something, and they smiled kindly, but I thought they were laughing at me. That night, I promised myself I'd never speak again. But a week later, I realized something powerful. Silence won't make you fluent. Speaking will. So I started again, small, messy, imperfect. And slowly I grew. You see, English isn't about perfection. It's about connection. Every mistake you make is proof that you're learning. Proof that you're brave enough to try. So, my dear learner, here's how you can start today. Listen to Short English daily. Don't rush. Repeat what you hear. Speak out loud, even if it's just one sentence a day. Notice how real speakers join words. Smile when you speak. Take it slow and trust the process. Because one day, just like Amina, Ravi, Lucas, and Sarah, you'll look back and realize you no longer struggle to understand fast English. You'll listen with ease, speak with rhythm, and respond with confidence. You'll see that fluency was never a distant dream. It was something you built. One word, one sound, one brave moment at a time. And when that day comes, remember this, it wasn't luck. It was your effort, your patience, your belief. So take a deep breath, smile, and start again. Your English is growing, faster, clearer, stronger, every single day.